Doom Eternal. Originally planned to be released in November of 2019, the release date was delayed and moved to
March 20th!
2020, which just so happens to be the day that Animal Crossing New Horizons comes out. The first game in the series to come out in 8 years. Unless you count Pocket Camp, which is pretty fun too, I have to admit. Anyway, you probably already knew that. That's not why you clicked on this video unless you just love me that much. Fun fact though, A Quiet Place Part 2 was supposed to come out on this special day as well, but with this funny beer virus going around, I doubt that it's even going to premiere. Another fun fact, my birthday is on March 20th, so yeah, send me an ice cream cake or something. Okay, anyway, I'm sure you've seen crossover art between Doom and Animal Crossing because of their shared release date. But what makes them so amusing to look at? Is it the irony of seeing Mr. Doomslayer, the Ravager of Hell itself, having a soft side, picking apples and going fishing? While Isabelle, the cute dog secretary, is drinking straight whiskey on the rocks while smoking up hordes of demons in a sort of role reversal fantasy? Heck, if this was an English paper, I'd throw in how it's a feminist influence as well, but
we don't do that here.
This idea of changing roles isn't too foreign, at least for Isabelle, with her addition to Smash Ultimate as a fighter beating the crap out of characters such as Ridley or Donkey Kong who are multiple times their size. But there has to be a word to describe this pairing of contrasting traits, and if you have the vocabulary of any educated high school student, you probably already know it. Juxtaposition. And there's irony, of course, which we'll get to later. But anyway, juxtaposition, the fact of two things being seen or placed close together with contrasting effect. According to Google here. It's kind of like Wreck-It Ralph, in which we see a large, smashy, Hulk-like man placed in situations which require him to be more kind and caring, alongside his sidekick, who is small and totally his opposite in many regards. But the irony of seeing a character possessing traits that contrast their appearance, such as the tough biker gangster man rescuing animals, or the anime girl wielding an arsenal of threatening weapons, comes as unexpected, and this is amusing to us. This irony is just as common as the idea of juxtaposition. We talked about Mr. Ralph here, and irony is very much present in that movie as well, but we also see it in Monsters, Inc., with the seemingly scary monster Sully turning out to be kind and caring, or Rainbow Six Siege's Rainbow's Magic event, in which the most tactical of counter-terrorist operators dress up like children's toys in a fairy tale book. However, back to Mr. Moody and Cheeseway here, just the fact that there happens to be a coincidence on their release date makes the juxtaposition and irony much more natural for everyone, and has generated some really, as everyone says, quote, wholesome, end quote, results, and I really do enjoy looking at what people make as a result of these aligning release dates. However, I believe that these two games share something more than just their release date, and that is that they are both very therapeutic, a way to relieve stress in this busy modern era. Now both games accomplish this in very different ways. In Animal Crossing, you have peaceful music to accompany your completion of tasks such as gardening, or picking fruit, or selling wares, which is very light and slow-paced, with very little rush to do anything, really. You can basically do as you please. In a way, this is similar to Minecraft, except in Animal Crossing, there's nothing to blow up your house or threaten your well-being. And like, look at all the villagers, they're just so cute and cuddly. Like, of course there's Isabelle, but have you seen Goldie, or Rosie, or... As for Doom, well, have you ever wanted to take out your anger on someone or something else? Your mom comes home, she yells at you for not doing your homework, and you just want to slam your fist on the table or something, But yeah, that's how Doom kind of has its calming effect. You essentially can bash demons' heads in to release your anger or stress as a sort of catharsis. Of course, even if you aren't angry or stressed, you still feel like an absolute badass, so my argument still stands. And the magnitude of reducing stress is much more than that of any stress that can be obtained by playing these games. Like, sure, you have a debt to pay to Mr. Nook, but you have forever to pay it back. There is no deadline. And in New Horizons, it's basically a playground for your imagination. You get to build an entire island to your liking. In Doom, you can die, but how often do you really die if you aren't playing on the hardest difficulty? Like, you are a super badass space marine after all. See, in the words of Mr. Shen, the total happiness in the world increases. But why don't video games like Call of Duty or Siege have the same therapeutic effect? The answer is simple. They focus much more on multiplayer than single-player experiences. Of course, both Animal Crossing and Doom have multiplayer features, but most people probably don't play those games for those features. In a single-player game, you can pause and complete the game on your own time. Of course, you can still have failures, but those failures are a result of your own choices and actions, rather than something out of your control, like lag or the skill of other players, whether it be in your own team or the enemy team. Trust me, it's very hard to keep your cool when Mao Zedong Jinping here from East Asia is one-tapping you in the head every couple of seconds and somehow manages to Keanu Reeves Matrix past your bullets because of his high ping. So at the end of the day, even if you get stung by a horde of bees or get smashed by some funky brain spider, you're still going to have an enjoyable experience. Not sponsored, by the way. I'm just hyped. So to recap, 2 games that are good for releasing stress. 2 different characters with extremely contrasting traits. Juxtaposition and irony. 2 games that coincidentally release on the same day. Of course though, in the words of Master Oogway, there are no accidents. And in the context of the sacred day of March 20th, I totally agree. That's about all, and, well, have fun playing Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal. Adios!